Good day and welcome to another Monday segment of A Week at the Plot. If you've watched the last upload, you'll know that we've now got 52 weeks of virtual daily updates from the plot. And as I said in the last upload, going forward, I'm still going to do regular updates as part of A Week at the Plot going forward, but I might be doing fewer. In fact, I will be doing fewer. I'll mostly be doing 3 or 4 days a week that will fit into A Week at the Plot. That will hopefully make the YouTube uploads a little bit shorter. But I'm still going to bring you along with what I'm doing, and what I will do, because there's such a gamut of information already there in the first year of A Week at the Plot, where I'm going to be digging over a bed, I won't necessarily take you with me on that whole journey, because if you've been watching our uploads, you will have seen me do that several times before. Occasionally I will do, and if I decide to do something a bit differently, I will bring you along with that. But today I've been thinking more about those bed extensions and the brick edging that I have put on those bed extensions. I really do like them. Therefore, what I've decided to do is I'm going to edge this large tomato bed as well. There are plenty more bricks that I can get this week and next week. And I woke up about 1 o'clock last night and just suddenly thought, you know what, Paul? Edge this bed as well. I think it's partly my desire to have neatness, and I'm never going to achieve the fantastically sharp edging that Vivi does. I know that. I know I'm not going to be able to achieve the grand Duchess of Gardening's sharpness in her edging of her beds. That's not going to be ever, I think, within my grasp, unless I can get her over here to do all of mine anyway. But yeah, I've decided I'm going to edge. Whether I will edge fully down the right hand side, if I've got enough bricks, you know I will. But I'm definitely going to do the left hand side, and I think I'll do the top end by these blueberries and the bottom end. What that then set me thinking about was these. These are plant display stands, or plant tray display stands, that we were gifted by somebody who works at a garden centre because they no longer needed them. And this year I'm going to be growing squash up them. We're also going to be doing climbing beans, of course, you know that. So what I've decided to do is just see how these will fit in here and here. Let me just move one over and then we can see what it looks like. You know what? That works for me. They're not going to be stable enough just standing there, so I'm going to put rebars down either side and tie the frame to the rebar to ensure it doesn't fall over. But yeah, I think that's going to work well. So what we'll be able to do is put a couple of squash either side, and then put beans on poles around here, so the squash can climb up here. They'll need some help, but they'll be able to climb up there, and the beans will protect them a bit and also give them a bit more area to climb up. So yeah, we'll have some beans climbing up each side, bean canes around, and then 2 squash on either side. I think these will be uchiki kuri because I know they can climb well. So fingers crossed, if they do grow, that I think is what we're going to be doing. Yeah. I think that will be a good use of those this year. I've got another plan for them next year, but I think they'll work well in this bed this year, which means that we'll have squash, one type of bean or 2 types of bean around here, and 1 type or 2 types of bean around here. And I think I'm going to do a slightly different setup with some of our bean canes this year as well. And I think that's going to happen in this bed here, next to where the broad beans are from our highly scientific experiment. So yeah, that's my thought process at the moment. We'll see how that develops over the next couple of days. Because I don't have my hammer, I'm not going to put the rebars in here at the moment. So I am going to move these from this space because we still have quite a breeze, as you might be able to hear, but you can certainly see from, oh, it's just stopped. No, certainly see from the windmill there. And what I don't want to happen is for these to get a big gust of wind and then fall over and flatten what we've got growing there. In fact, let's just go in and have a quick look at what we have got growing in this bed behind this frame. Can you see in the middle there those 2 Grando Violetto broad beans? And that there is a whole line of Grando Violetto coming up, though none over there, which is interesting. Did I plant those? Did I sow those? Maybe not. There's more here coming up, as you can see in the middle. And these are the broad beans that Vivi brought and we planted as plants on the 1st of January. Over there we have our train driver mountain range. And then in this batch here, we have the Oregon sugar pod seedlings over there. If we swing back, the smaller plants you can see there are later sowings of train driver mountain range as well. And then over here, we have Mr. Bethel's purple podded. And then if I just lean you back a bit, the other 3 sides are ones that I can't remember. Oh, of course. Golden Sweet, which were a real discovery for us last year. So this is very much a legumes bed of peas and beans. What I am noticing with the Mr. Bethel's purple podded, I don't think you'll be able to see, but maybe I can get a photo, is the actual leaf has got a purplish reddish tinge to it, which certainly the Golden Sweet do not have. Anyway, there we are. I have a few beds to prep, which I'll most probably get on with tomorrow. This one, which is where our brassicas were. That one over there, where our perpetual spinach was. And then we've still got in that windmill bed 2 chard and just beyond it some celeriac. So that celeriac is definitely going to be coming out in the next day or so and will likely be chunked up and go into our freezer to add flavours to soups and stews. So I'll leave it there and continue thinking about these frames. See you again soon. Bye. Good day. Nothing from Babs and Pamela yet. They're being a bit tardy. But looky here. 4 golden yellow courgettes germinated. And then over here is the Aurelia yellow courgette, which looks really strong, and those cotyledons are big. So yeah, that's great. We're going to have courgettes this year, which is fab. Will we have melons? Come on, Babs. Come on, Pamela. Get at it. Get them up and out. I was saying the other day that our ceanothus last year had completely gone over. Look, you can see it's still to come out. California lilac, it's also called. Such a fantastic thing. Hopefully in about a week it will be out. If we just look up there, that's our tree honeysuckle. And I think you can see it is flowering. So gorgeous. Really quite subtle. More flowers, this time from our kale thousand head and Portuguese cabbage. Our rhubarb, which we leave to flower each year, is looking good. Though I do need to take leaves off so they don't go in the water, because rhubarb leaves are poisonous. And then just looking at next door, can you see the beauty in there? This is a quince. It is a fabulous tree and a wonderful flower. Doesn't have much scent at the moment. The scent really comes when the fruit starts setting and ripening in sort of September, October. Right, we'll leave it there. I'm down early because I want to crack on with some beds, but we'll pick up on that another day. Bye. Good day. Still Tuesday. I've just had a look in the polytunnel at what we've got there and also the flowers. And now I'm going to crack on with these 2 beds. Removing the remaining perpetual spinach. That's going to go to the chickens. And then over there in the middle is celeriac, which will be coming out today to go into the freezer. We've got some chard in the smaller bed on the right of that bed in the middle, and I'll leave that there, but I will weed around them. So I want to get these beds prepared. I prepared that bed yesterday. So yeah, I was going to do this one yesterday as well, but actually what I decided is that one was enough for me yesterday. I'd done various other things, and A, I was tired, but B, because I was a bit tired, I knew that the job I would do on this bed would not be as good as if I left it overnight and just cracked on with it, because I'd have done a quicker job, spent less time on it, maybe not got as many sankfoil and bindweed out as I needed to. So yeah, I'm just going to crack on with these. So I'm forking them over to a forked depth, taking out any bindweed or sankfoil or couch grass. Then they go into that black tub there, and then they go into the perennial weed compost bin, the second one that we've got, which is the brown one just behind that bamboo. So let me crack on and we'll see how far we get. Good day. Oh, the sun's just going in. I was just going to say what a glorious day it is. It's now Thursday morning, and I actually took my advice from Tuesday, because once I'd done the large bed and was 3/4 of the way through the celeriac bed, my energy just dropped, and I knew if I carried on with that other quarter of the bed, I wouldn't have done a good enough job. So I didn't come down to the plot at all yesterday. It was quite a grey day. It was quite cold. There was a strong breeze. There wasn't a need to open the polytunnel. So I didn't come down. That's the first day I haven't been down for many a week, I think. And today, which is Thursday morning, I've decided to crack on with the celeriac bed, finish that, and also start on the chard bed. So that's what I'm going to do now. What we did have yesterday was a fabulous dosing of rain. I mean, glorious, glorious rain. You know, in the winter, we're going, oh, there's too much rain. And in the spring and summer, we're going, we need rain for things to grow. What I have noticed, and it's difficult to catch on camera, so I don't think I will be, but rain that comes from the skies, i.e. rain, is so different, it seems to me, in how it gets taken up by plants. When we water things, I'm just making sense of what I'm about to say. When we water things, we obviously mainly water the roots, or down on the ground level. And of course, what rain does is it cleans everything, doesn't it? It comes down from the skies, it wets all the leaves, it cleans everything, and then it goes into the soil. What I was going to say is, after good rainfall, everything looks so much greener. And of course, one of the reasons it looks so much greener, I suddenly realised as I was about to say something a bit silly, was because that rain washes everything as well. So it washes the leaves, where when we're very often watering, we're just watering the base of plants rather than the whole of the plant. So yeah, I guess that's why everything just looks so much fresher and brighter and greener. And of course, rain has a whole load of nutrients and minerals in it that plants love as well. So yeah, but I think maybe most of that is the fact that the rain actually cleans the leaves and make them look greener. Yeah, haven't thought of that. Anyway, look, I'm going to crack on with that celeriac bed and with the chard bed, and then we'll have a look at it once I've done both of them. That's our second perennial weed compost bin full. The big ones, it's this that is my nightmare on the plot, as you know if you've watched, and you may not know if you haven't. Sankfoil. It's a wild strawberry, and actually, as you can see here, it puts out runners. Wherever these touch the ground, it will produce another plant. And their roots, let me see if I can find a look at that. You can see how that bit there is growing, and there is the root. It's about 8 inches. These roots can go down. I mean, I've pulled up a cinquefoil root that was over a foot easily, maybe even 14-15 inches, and they're black. They're black, and you look at that and you think, oh, that's dead, that's dead, it's black. But actually it will grow from here. If it's in the ground like that, going down, it takes up all nutrients, and it can stay dormant for ages, and then it just germinates from here and gives you like that. Gosh, the bane of my life here. Anyway, let me show you what I've done. So these are now weeded and forked. I'm still going to go through with my hand fork in a couple of days, because any other roots like the cinquefoil root I want to get out. What is a bit of a challenge with the chard and the celeriac is their roots are white, and they're not really going to do any damage to the soil if you leave them in there, but you don't know sometimes whether it's bindweed or celeriac root or chard root, so best to take any roots that you can see out. So on Tuesday morning I did this bed, taking out the perpetual spinach, and I did up to about here on this bed. And then this morning I've carried on down here and done the whole of this bed, deciding to take out those 2 chard. I was going to weed around them, but thought, no, come on, Paul, do the sensible thing, which is just to get these beds ready. So that's what I have done. We're going to be sowing into these very soon and planting into these very soon, so best I get it done now. As you know, if you've watched us, we also got some soil improver a few weeks back, maybe 4-5 weeks back, and now that I've weeded these, I'm going to put some soil improver on top and just rake that in and just leave it. Once I start planting into here, I will fork in with my hand fork. Anyway, that's it for today. As I say, it's Thursday now, and I'll see you again for another week at the plot very soon. Bye. Good day. It's a quiet day today. There's a few people around me as well. So I was going to do a job today of sowing our runner beans and putting the bean canes in. But once I put the bean canes in, there was quite a lot of chatter around. So I decided to switch the job that I'm doing today. So I have decided, as you've seen, to hoe some of our beds, uprooting the shallow rooted weeds that we don't want in those beds. And with the breeze that we've got across the plot, and also with the sunshine that we've got today, hopefully those roots will dry out and the weed seedling will die. We did just have a little shower before I put the top dressing on the perpetual spinach bed. So what I did there is I took the perpetual spinach out earlier in the week. I forked that all over to a fork's depth. I did a bit of hand weeding of the bed a couple of days ago as well. And now I've just leveled it off and top dressed with the soil improver and some peat-free compost that we had left over from last year. So it is fresh compost. It's not repurposed old compost that we might have grown potatoes in last year. It's fresh compost, but it's been in the compost bag over the winter months. And when that has happened, very often worms and other activity starts, microbial activity starts, and instead of using that for sowing, I've opened up the bag and put half of that peat-free compost onto that bed. So I mixed half a bag of peat-free compost. I mixed a whole bag of soil improver, which is well-rotted horse manure basically. Mix that all together and then top dress that perpetual spinach bed. What it will be this year, I think it's most probably going to have some beans in it, but I think it will also have other crops as well. As I've said before, I'm not going to be doing my big bed of beans this year, of climbing beans. I'm actually splitting the beans up into different areas to, just shake things up a little bit for me. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there now, and I'll see you again tomorrow. And hopefully we'll be able to get some of the runner beans sown. Fingers crossed. See you tomorrow. Bye. Good day. It is Sunday morning, about 9 o'clock, and I'm quite excited because I'm doing the job today that I didn't get done yesterday. These are our Scarlet Emperor saved seed runner beans. So Shaz sent us some runner beans, I think about 4 years ago, something like that, maybe 3 years ago. And we've definitely grown them for 3 seasons. And all of our runner beans now that we grow are these Shaz's Scarlet Emperor, as we call them. I normally do these in pots. This year I'm trying to save on compost, part of that regime of going peat free as well. So I'm doing much more direct sowing of beans this year. And these are going to be going up canes, hopefully, if they grow. And I put the canes in a slightly different way. Now, runner beans for us are really nice when they're nice and young. They don't have any string to them, and they're great to eat either raw or steamed when they're nice and young. However, the biggest use for us is when they have actually gone over and they become too stringy to eat, and we leave them dry on the cane, and then we use these beans as our kidney beans. So we don't buy kidney beans, we use dried runner bean seeds instead. And you know what? They're fantastically mouthy. They just feel so lovely in the mouth. They really do. That sounds a bit naughty, but anyway. Let me show you the canes. here are the bean canes that I'm going to be using for the runner beans. And as hopefully you can see, instead of doing them into an inverted V, into an apex, like that, I've actually got them bending out a little bit, like that. And the ones on either side, so not these, but the one near front side and at the back side there, are also just bending out a bit. The reason that I'm doing that is because when you have canes like that, the beans fall this side of the cane. What I'm hoping is by doing it like that, the beans will fall this side of the cane and be easier to pick. And any that fall a different way, as I say, with these, we're just going to be leaving and let them dry in the pod and then saving the seed for eating. So yeah, this is a slightly different way of doing runner beans. I have not done it this way before, so it will be interesting to see how they do. Obviously, you can do this with any type of climbing bean. Right, let me get in there and start seed sowing. These are Shaz's Scarlet Emperor runner beans. And I'm just going to pop them down outside these, because you'd normally plant them on the inside so that when they grow they hit the cane on the inside, but as these canes are slightly coming out rather than going in with an apex, I'm planting them this side. I'm putting basically around 2 per cane. I'm being quite greedy with space, using my finger to go down rather than breaking the shell. So yeah, I'm making a hole. I'm going to put another one in there. Making a hole with my finger and putting it down. They're going down about 1.5 inches, something like that. I'm really glad to have got that job done. It's like all the beans that we grow, they're an important part of our diet. So it's great to have those in. There's about 24 seeds that I put into quite a tight area. And what I did after I'd sown them is I just put a mulch of soil improver and compost really well mixed together on top, and obviously given it a really good water. We're due quite a lot of rain tomorrow, supposedly, and over the subsequent days. So fingers crossed that they will germinate well. What we also have, I think Wednesday evening to Thursday evening, we dropped back down to 1 degree overnight, which down here could mean that we're sort of just above freezing. So there could actually be another frost. However, I've held off sowing the beans because even if those do germinate over the next 3 days, they're unlikely with that mulch on top to be at a stage that it will damage the growing shoot. I really expect those to be coming up in about 10 days, something like that. So that will be fine. But because April has been so frosty, we've kept off sowing our beans. Anyway, I'm going to go now, or else I will just waffle on. And I'm sure this is already at least 45 minutes. So I'll go. Any questions, please do put them down below. Any comments, they're always lovely. And thank you so much for your comments last week. Last week was the first full year of virtual daily updates of A Week at the Plot. And I know many of you really enjoy it, but it was so encouraging to hear how what we have done has helped you get through the last year, and who knows what is to come. Fingers crossed. Anyway, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for contributing. And I'll see you again very soon for more A Week at the Plot. Bye.